Hello everybody and welcome back to World of Warships Legends. My name is Spartan Elite 43 and tonight we are back on the path to the Hipper and we're on Tier 5, which means we are now looking at the Tier 5 Nurnberg. So let's take a look at our commander. We're using Karl von Muller with Francesco Mimbelli and Nikolai Kuznetsov. We have Beyond Range, Igniter, Punch Through, Fixated, and Fully Packed. You could swap Fixated for the steering clear, or steering gear here, because it would help. But honestly, I like to hit my targets, and this thing doesn't have the best accuracy in the world. So it's kind of nice to have. Anyway, our ship loadout, we are running Aiming Systems Mod 1 and Steering Gears Mod 2. We're running the Alpha Tester flag and the Type 4 camo. For stats, we've got 27,000 hit points with a 7% torpedo damage reduction. For artillery, you got 150mm 60 caliber main guns. You get 9 of those in an awkward firing position. Firing range out to 17 kilometers with a 5.7 second reload time. 180 degree turn time's not bad at 23.7. HE shell maximum damage 1700 with an 11% chance to set fires, and AP shell maximum damage is 4212. Secondaries, you have 88mm L76 Doppel C32s. You get 8 of those, reaching out to 4.7 and reloads in 4 seconds. They fire HE with a maximum damage of 1000 and a fire chance of 7%. For torpedoes, you get the 533mm drillings. You get 12 of those, 68 second reload time. Maximum damage is 13,700, a torpedo detectability of 1.3 kilometers. Torpedo range is still only 6 kilometers, and they still do 64 knots. AA defense, you have 7.92mm MG34s. You get 4 of those, doing 10 damage per second, firing out to 1 kilometer. Then you have the 20mm Flak 38s that you have 4 of, firing out to 2 kilometers and doing 12 damage per second. Then you have the 37mm Flak Zwilling 30s. You have 16 of those, firing out to 3.5 kilometers and doing 21 damage per second. And you have the 88mm L76 Doppel C32s. You have 8 of those, reaching out to 4 kilometers and doing 32 damage per second. Maneuverability, 33.3 knots with a turning circle that is absolutely awful at 720 meters. And the rudder shift time we've got down to 6.1. Concealment. Detectability range by sea is 11.7. Detectability by air is 7.4. Guaranteed is always 2. And 5.9 kilometer detectability while firing in smoke. Armor. You don't really have any armor on this thing, so keep that in mind. You can bounce like cruiser shells and stuff if you angle against it, and DDs obviously, but battleships, don't count on it. There are a couple spots you can bounce off of, and you do bounce off of it, but it's just assume you're going to get smashed and try to avoid it, if at all possible. Fore and aft end armor, obviously, you have a 20mm armor belt that goes all the way to the bow. It's inconsequential for battleships at all, because they still overmatch and go straight through it. But then you have the 16mm of everywhere, pretty much. You got 16mm bow and stern. If we take that off and look at this, we have 19mm of side plating. And then, of course, you have a nice little bit of armor right at the waterline. I don't know why this is showing conning tower. I want the other... Oops. Apparently that was it. Alright, so the armor belt's 50mm thick, right at the belt, which you can bounce a lot of stuff if you angle, but you gotta hope that they hit that. If they hit high, and it's going down into your citadel, you're gonna have a bad time. Otherwise, it's 20mm just like the front. Okay? And your citadel is substantial, and it is above the waterline, so keep that in mind. If you over-angle, if you get shot through the bow, you will be citadeled and bad things happen. So keep that in mind. Also, gotta love that arrow, am I right? So, let's look at the overview. Full circle, main battery turrets still can rotate in 360 degrees. You get the extended sonar, which is like 5.1 kilometers, and then sparkless, below average chance for HE shells to cause fire. Nurnberg. The ship was developed from the Königsberg class cruisers. In contrast to her predecessor, she had larger dimensions and featured reinforced turret armor. Moreover, she retained the main battery guns with their high-performance characteristics. The cruiser's AA defense comprised numerous anti-aircraft guns. She entered service in 1935. There was only one of them ever built. Well, let's take a look at this thing. First of all, I hate the design of only having a single gun up front and 2 guns at the rear. Hate it. Hate it. But it is what it is. Other than that, I mean, it's not a bad-looking cruiser. It's just not very good. You can see they're already starting to move the planes further back on the ship, even by the time this one was built. So, like, keep that in mind. But it's still right in the center of the ship. So if an aircraft were to get caught on fire, like, that's devastating to the ship. But overall, not a bad-looking ship. I can't stand playing this ship, and we'll go over that in the gameplay. So without further ado, let's get into it. Alrighty, so we're going to be on shards. I'm not going to lie to you guys. I hate this ship. I hate it. It's so obnoxious to try to play this thing because you really have to balance between being aggressive and being, like, too passive. And if you do one or the other too much, you're dead. Or you don't do anything. And I don't really care for that. And the fact that this thing literally does not turn. No matter how fast you get the rudder shift on this thing, like, it just doesn't turn. You saw it had a worse turning circle than a freaking American battleship, for God's sakes. Like, it literally had a 720-meter turning circle on a light cruiser. It's ridiculous. And what that ends up meaning is that if you're trying to play medium range, you cannot dodge anything. No matter what you try to dodge, like, it ends up hitting you almost every time. Just because the ship doesn't like to turn. It's kind of like the Stalingrad in that aspect. Like, you can get the rudder shift down and get it to where it kind of wiggles a little bit, but to actually turn the ship, it just doesn't seem like it ever wants to turn, and that's kind of what I get into with the Stalingrad too. So the good news about the Stalingrad is it actually has the turrets at the front of the ship, where this only has a single triple turret at the front, and the rest of your firepower is at the back, and they're really, really bad firing angles, meaning you have to basically go broadside to get the fire all 3 guns, and it's awful. Contrary to that, the other way you could play this ship as a kiting cruiser, and kind of, you want to catch people in that 13 to 15 kilometer range and be kiting away, because then you can fire your rear guns, you know, at them, and then wiggle to get the front gun on target. And that is where I've had the most success, unless I can actually maneuver close to get into range to shoot things up close and personal, especially other cruisers, because people do stupid things in front of you. Like this furry taco. This furry taco has no idea what he's getting himself into. He fires AP at me, which is actually a good play. I mean, he has 203mm guns and can absolutely punish me. But he fires his AP at me initially, and then he's going to get another shot here, which actually caught me off guard. But he gets one overpin. I think he hit the turret there. But you can see I'm already measuring him up. I'm already thinking so far ahead of most. Like, this is where a lot of people lose 1v1. Like, they don't think ahead. They only react. Reacting gets you killed in this game. Okay? You have to think ahead. You have to be planning. Hey, I have this many people that are looking at me. I need to make sure that I'm dodging. Look at me. I'm already loading AP. I can't even shoot the man yet. I already know what this man's going to do. He's going straight in. He wants to go straight after our destroyer who's capturing the base. We're going to go ahead and cover our backside by throwing these torpedoes out there, splitting them up a little bit. And then as soon as we got a shot, like, our guns are already in position, they're ready to go, and armor-piercing salvo away, we get one Citadel with the first shot, but lots of penetrations, and then we're going to go ahead and finish them off with the second salvo, and we get a much better shot. We aimed a little too far forward on the first one. Again, at these close ranges, the shell velocity is actually not bad. It's at the longer ranges that you struggle. But yeah, first cruiser's down. You can see I'm already starting to switch back to the HE and shoot at the furry taco, the second one. We're going to start trying to burn him down, and we get a fire on the very first salvo. Now, obviously, the British carrier's trying to torp us, and, I mean, I'm in a cruiser. Good luck trying to torp a cruiser in a British carrier. If you manage, I mean, actually, he does manage to hit me later, but that was mainly because I just let my guard down, but you could see that he's struggling to do anything to me. Again, with the faster rudder shift that I have, like, I can kind of wiggle the ship relatively decently, which helps at medium to long ranges at avoiding fire. But if you're inside medium range, so inside that 13-kilometer window, anything inside that, you're going to struggle to dodge anything. Like, it doesn't matter what shoots at you. And so you really have to play it very careful, but also somewhat aggressive. And that's the balance that I just don't like about this ship. I just don't like the Nurnberg. Back when I actually first played this ship, there was a glitch where the rear turret would say that it was capable of firing, but it wouldn't actually fire. It was really obnoxious. It was really obnoxious. It ended up costing you like a full quarter of a second to a full second sometimes, depending on how bad it was. But you can see we're already lining up. The Furry Taco went down. We're lining up our next attack on this Mayhan. We're spotted by his torpedo bombers from the carrier. And so he should know I'm coming. And for whatever reason, this Mayhan's just, I don't know if it's because he's trying to dodge the carrier or what, but this man just straight up drives right into me. It's like, "Hi, Sunshine. How you doing, buddy?" Yeah, that's gonna hurt. 6 penetrations on him, and we're gonna go ahead and finish him off before he has a chance to do anything. Giving us our second kill. And we've done a pretty solid job of holding all of our hit points. I'm assuming torpedoes are coming here. Like, he knew I was there. He sailed broadside that entire time knowing I was there. So I'm assuming torpedoes are coming, so I slow down, I turn in, and there was never any torpedoes. And, yeah, so not preferable. I mean, it is preferable, but it slowed me down when I shouldn't have. But we're going to go in, try to get into that center cap, see if we can help. Our Scharnhorst is requesting support, but there's honestly nothing I can do about it. He's being harassed by a carrier. He's in battleship. Like, there's not a whole lot I can do about you. That being said, there is an Akatsuki off to the right side, which is already spotted on the map by the Duca, the Duca Aosta, or whatever that is, Duca Aosta. But we're going to try to take a shot at this Akatsuki here. And, of course, as soon as I start rotating my guns to get a shot on him, he's going to disappear as I shoot. And we do get the first shot out on him. And, you know, it was a pretty good one. We hit him 4 times. Took a good chunk off him. But unfortunately, he's going to go down, and go dark, and we don't have a way to spot him currently. We do have a plane, but he's too far out, and he's a destroyer, so my fighter's probably not going to spot him. Our Fubuki manages to kill their Furious, and from this point on, I completely just forget about the carrier. I figure he's dead. He's got a destroyer out there. He's got things to do other than try to mess with me. The Benson manages to kill our Scharnhorst. It's unfortunate, but it is a thing. The Duca finally comes around the backside of that island. He's got the Akatsuki lit up. He should be able to finish the Akatsuki pretty easily. So you can see I'm starting to move back into position to go into Bravo, help secure this cap, and secure the win for our team. But I am going to make a huge mistake in this one. And that is putting myself in danger. I don't need to. Remember, I'm a light cruiser. There's no reason for me to put myself in the front of my team here to be shot at in a game where it is literally we have the lead, they have to come to us, and we're about to have the cap advantage. So there's literally no reason for me to do what I'm about to do, other than just not thinking. And that's something that you get in trouble with. I get in trouble with. I'm sure everybody else does as well. I'm going to get tunnel visioned on this destroyer. And I see where the North Carolina is currently, but you can see our destroyer outside manages to kill the cruiser, and we've got this Benson spotted here, so we're going to try to get rid of him. Now again, I should not be pushing out of this cap and into the center open water when there's a North Carolina and a Benson to spot for him. Like, this is a stupid move. Like, this is death waiting to happen as we take a hit from torpedoes, from the carrier that is still somehow alive, even though he died like 3 minutes ago. But yeah, North Carolina gets a shot at me. You can see I did a pretty okay job of dodging those, trying to slow down, turn in, and make myself as skinny as possible. And we're already starting the barbecue on this North Carolina, and we have a destroyer here that should be able to help us get rid of their destroyer, or at least spot him. And you'll see that as we start burning him down, this Benson's actually going to jump over. He's willed to rebuilding this guy. If we let these guys go, at this rate, they could easily win this match. So I have to get rid of this Benson at this point. And you can see we took a nasty hit from that North Carolina. Got very lucky not to be death struck right there. But we have to get rid of this Benson. We have to split him up. We have to force this Benson to get away from that battleship so we can kill the battleship. If he willed to rebuild that battleship, we could easily lose this match. So you can see we absolutely pound this Benson, and the plan works. He gets away from the battleship. And the battleship's still looking at me because I'm all he can shoot at the moment. So, you know, it's coming. We turn out, we do the best we can, and ooh boy, that was death. We just stared death right in the face, and you can see I'm still trying to focus the Benson. Again, we know we have the North Carolina. We've got him burning. The carrier's harassing him. Like, this guy should be dead. He does damage con, and so we have to go back to focusing him. And then, of course, the Benson starts shooting me while I'm doing this. And between the two of them, they really did a pretty good job of trying to split their focus to try to get me off the board. But you can see this Benson is no joke, man. That HE hurts. And fortunately for us, he gets spotted again by the carrier or the destroyer, but then he pulls forward and gets finished off by the destroyer. We did everything we could in this one. Again, I know it's not the highest damage game in the world, but I feel like it did a pretty good job of showing the strengths and the weakness of the ship. And let me know what you guys think. If you like what I'm doing, punch the like button, leave a comment below, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and as always, I will see you in the next video.